Good evening, crypto miners. Mary here. We are on again for another very exciting interview. AMA here with Veracity or Veracity. I don't know. Let's hear from Elliot. Elliot Hill. How do
Hey
you
Mary.
pronounce Veracity? Hi.
Yeah, it's veracity. Yeah, so
Veracity. All right.
a little bit like the real word, but with an S.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So, very welcome, Elliot. You are CMO for Veracity.
Yeah. So I'm CMO
Okay,
at
yeah.
Veracity. Joined in the start of 2022. So coming up on a year and a half in June.
Great. And Veracity has been around for many years already. So we will hear a little bit about the history shortly, but let's start with you after this little announcement I have that we do not give any financial advice, but wish to give you more knowledge about this project, and then you do your own research after that. So welcome everyone, and Elliot, let's hear about you a little bit. When did you start with crypto and why, maybe?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So I've been in crypto since around start of 2017 is when I started getting interested in crypto. Um, most transferable skill that I could bring to the space was in marketing. So I looked into becoming a crypto marketer and sort of haven't looked back since then. So I've had the pleasure of working with quite a few number of companies in the space, you know, from top 10 protocols like the Cardano Foundation. I was with there for a year. I was with Cardano when I joined, their market cap was around 4 billion, and when I left, it was around 45 billion. But I don't claim any credit for that. But
Nice.
but
Yes, you should.
no, definitely not. The market was in a great condition then, and also I've had the pleasure of working with some other pretty well known crypto projects. So I did a little bit of work with Chainlink, Mode, Bitcoin. And also with Signum Digital Asset Bank. So did some work with them. And recently, just before I joined Veracity, I was with Ockham Finance, which were a decentralized, like a DeFi platform and launchpad. So really had an exposure to a really diverse number of projects in the space. And actually, we were on a Twitter space yesterday where I said what I'm about to say, and I'll say it again, is that Veracity is probably one of the most interesting projects that I've ever worked with in terms of the actual solutions that it's delivering to real world problems.
Yeah, it is. It has real utility. I've read a little bit about it online already, but we can have like an elevator pitch from you, an overview briefly, what it is, what kind of product it is, and then also a little bit about how big the team has grown in all this. I think it's 5 years now. Veracity has been around, right?
Yeah. So we launched in 2017 through an ICO, which it gives you a little idea of how long Veracity's been in the space because ICOs are definitely not really a thing anymore. And that was sort of around the time that I got into crypto, but actually, unfortunately, I didn't hear about Veracity at that time, which is a real shame. So yeah, launched in 2017. And as a project, we were building out our infrastructure and building out our team and our products and our solutions ever since. I've been through a few iterations of what our tech, our main focus commercially is. But I would say that we're in very strong position of going to market now. So I'll just give like a brief overview of what the project is.
Yeah,
So we're an
yeah,
open
do that.
ledger ecosystem designed to fight advertising fraud primarily. But we also have product verticals in the payment space and in the wallet space. So we've got the VeraWallet, which is where you can hold and stake VRA. We have 15% guaranteed staking through to next April at the moment through the VeraWallet. We're exploring the release of VeraPay towards the to the end of 2023, which will be like a simple to use payment solution utilizing the VRA token. And sort of in preparation for that and to sort of gauge demand, I guess, we've recently released the VeraCard, which is the first time that you can actually use your VRA to load onto a payments card, a Visa card, and pay in real stores. So that's sort of our ecosystem. As I say, our key focus is on preventing ad fraud through VeraViews, and I'm sure we'll get into how that works in a little later in the space.
So that was like the start, right? About the fraud thing and the advertisement help that Veracity wanted to bring to the space, and then it has grown from there, or what was the key point that you started with?
Yeah, so Veracity was always started as an advertising ecosystem. It's been through a few iterations, like any good product, where we find the best product to market fit. So it was Veracity has essentially been founded on our patented technology, which is called Proof of View. Proof of View is a open ledger based module, a blockchain based module that allows us to store advertising data on a purpose built blockchain in a transparent and open manner. It's really important for the advertising ecosystem that data is stored transparently. I'm sure we'll get into that into the why on that a little bit later. But we also developed a number of other products that fit around that ecosystem and around that goal. One of those is Watch and Earn, which is still one of our products. So Watch and Earn recently was awarded a patent in the USA, and that is essentially rewarded video. So not only can people using the VeraViews system show adverts to people in a transparent manner, but they can also reward users for watching those adverts. So we also have Watch and Earn capabilities. And also we did launch a product called Vera Esports. Now, I noticed a few of the more eagle-eyed listeners may have spotted that this was originally called Accelerating the Evolution of Esports with Blockchain. We actually have moved away from the esports niche, because Vera Esports as a product was primarily there to help us test VeraViews. So we use the traffic generated through Vera Esports to stress test our systems, really bring a great product to market in VeraViews that publishers would want. And, you know, to put it very simply, it serves its purpose. We're now obviously live with publishers, and we have live data from real publishers to use and show to the market. So Vera Esports has sort of taken it's been sunsetted essentially. Our current website doesn't actually reflect that, which is why hopefully towards the end of this month, maybe start of next month, we're going to be pushing a large full product ecosystem change, where we update all of our website, all of our branding to reflect that VeraViews is our core product, and, you know, take a step back from the esports. So that's sort of been the evolution of our ecosystem. And now, you know, for the last year, we've been all about commercial success for VeraViews, which in turn will bring the most success as a whole to Veracity.
So esport is no more at all, because you were about to launch your own NFT platform as well, and that was maybe good for the for the esports, I thought. But did you move away totally from it, or?
Yes, that was in, I would say, probably thinking back now, Q1 or Q2 last year.
Okay.
At the time, so we began a build of, it was called Veraverse, and that was going to complement Vera Esports. What we saw in the space was an awful lot of competition, essentially, and there are a lot of already key established players, both on the NFT side and on the esports side. And we sort of, midway through last year, decided that we needed to really play to our strengths. We were seeing a lot of demand for our our proof of view technology and for VeraViews as a advertising stack. That's what we call it. So it made total sense, especially for the success of Veracity as a whole, because VeraViews is the main product that actually uses the VRA token in its operation. We used that opportunity to go fully in and fully behind VeraViews. And I think, the success of that decision speaks for itself. So now, a year on, we have a product live generating revenue with users, with publishers on board. We're able to make token burns from that revenue. And I actually think if we had carried on, what I would say is like splintering our development resources across many different product verticals instead of focusing almost fully on VeraViews, I'm not sure whether we would have been so far along in terms of adoption. So I think it was really a great decision commercially.
I think you're right. I mean, I think it's good to concentrate on what you're good with. I mean, if you have too many legs, you will break a few probably. Not in a good way. Now you broke it by yourself, so
yeah, I mean,
that's a good analogy there.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. Yeah, I mean, you sort of have to, as I say, Veracity has been around for many years, and part of that is finding product market fit. I think there are a lot of, I mean, I've certainly seen it in crypto in the time that I've worked in crypto. There's a lot of projects which don't have that product to market fit, or rather they cater entirely to what I would call, I guess, the crypto sphere. So all of their fate is tied to the crypto markets. We saw this, I think.
And
the hype, exactly. We saw this with DeFi. I mean, DeFi is obviously still there, but its fate is directly tied to how many people are buying and utilizing crypto. Whereas now, with our focus on VeraViews, our commercial success sort of depends more on the advertising ecosystem and the advertising market. Which is absolutely huge. It's like one of the biggest online markets worldwide. So we think it's a good decision.
Yeah, and can we go more in depth there? And what is it really that you do or provide to your users? And who are your users? I mean, I can do the watch and earn. That's for private people like me or anyone in here, I guess. But you also have something for companies, right?
Yeah, so I would say the majority of what we do is B2B. We are bringing out more. I always use the word retail, so like you or I, people like you or I could use, and that would be things like the VeraWallet and the VeraCard. Watch and earn, of course, is something that would be directly applicable to retail users. But the actual bones of what we do is B2B, and that's on the VeraView side. And the customers and users that we're targeting there are publishers. So a publisher is any website or any online brand, I guess, that publishes content. So we can think of some publishers as being traditional publishers, like the Daily Mail, for instance. They're a traditional publisher, but now they have an absolutely huge online presence. We've got people like the Times of Israel, who are actually a publisher already using our solution. They have over 10 million monthly unique visitors to their online site. And we've also got publishers that are sort of breaking through and more niche. So we've got ones that started on social media, but have maybe now become large publishers in their own right. Things like Unilad and these sorts of publishers. So all publishers online can use our solution to monetize their content. Now, what we mean by that is if they have a certain number of traffic, they can show video content to their users, and they can get paid essentially and monetize their traffic through video ads. And what Veracity through VeraViews does is we provide a simple advertising stack that is compatible at the moment with the Brightcove web player, which is a NASDAQ listed company, and they're used by over 3,000 publishers on the web. But soon we're going to have a wrapper tag solution that lets VeraViews be used by pretty much any video player. And you can essentially monetize your website really easily by adding video content to your website and then adding video ads into that content. So we think that, that's a solution that is offered by a lot of different ad stacks, but what we do differently is we also provide a fraud prevention layer on top of that. So there's a lot of fraud in the advertising industry. And essentially that fraud is things like click fraud, it's bots watching video ads that aren't actually going out to real people. And it's things like domain spoofing, so they'll spoof whole websites. If you use the VeraViews ad stack, you're not going to get that fraud that you typically would in the rest of the industry by monetizing your content through VeraViews. So that's essentially what we do in a nutshell, like a high level overview.
So basically you help the companies who has their own videos or contents that they want people to see to buy the products, probably. You help them to define how many clicks you get or how many viewers they have.
Yeah, exactly. So
Real
I mean,
viewers.
yeah, real viewers. So they estimate that around 1 in 3 ads on the internet are actually seen by bots and not real people. And I guess to give some context to this, I mean, we often tend to get a little bit down in the weeds. I talk about this stuff and forget that not everyone's day-to-day business is advertising. So, I mean, when you land on a website, so let's say you went to, I always use the Daily Mail here in the UK because they're one of the biggest websites here in the UK where you're definitely served an ad. So you would go onto their website and you would be reading a news article, and within that news article there may be an embedded video. Now, what you'll have noticed, and I'm sure everyone's seen this, but in that embedded video, there'll be some content that's probably relevant to what you're reading, or maybe it'll be another news story. But before you're served that content, you usually served a short ad. What happens in that process is just a few seconds after you've landed on that web page, there'll be back-end processes which are totally automated. That's why they're called programmatic advertising, that basically bid. So it's like an auction, essentially. Bid for the right to show you that advert. So we all know about cookies. So as we go through the web and our daily lives, we're essentially given some data, if we consent to cookies, that is, we're giving some data about ourselves to advertising networks. This is why we get cookie consent notices. And those cookies are used to build up a user profile. So for instance, my user profile at a very simple level would be that I'm a male in the United Kingdom. I won't give my age, but in his 30s. And that would put me in a certain demographic. Now, let's say I land on a website. The advertisers will say, okay, this is the publisher will collect data that will say, okay, we know this guy is a male living in the United Kingdom in his 30s. Who wants to bid for this ad? This essentially happens in microseconds, all automated. And off the back of that, I'll be shown an advert. If I watch the advert successfully, the brand who the adverts belong to will be charged money, essentially, and the publisher will get a portion of that money. Now, the problem that we've got online, and especially in this video programmatic, which is what we call this process, is that there's 73% more bots in this form of advertising than in any other form of advertising online. So it costs advertisers yearly roughly around $80 billion a year at the moment, and they think that's going to go up to $100 billion and more by 2025. And I think what we really need to ask then is well, who benefits from this? Who benefits from the bots? And essentially what's happening on the back end is this intermediaries, like I said, this process happens in split seconds. Within that process, this intermediaries who maybe are less than honest, they take money off the table for letting bots get through. Also, there's domain spoofing. So someone could actually, and this is really, really common, they can actually copy an entire website. So let's say, for instance, you guys, the crypto miners, you've got a website and it's generating 1 million monthly hits. They might spoof your website, set it up with all the legit tags, say we are crypto miners, and then they'd go to these advertising networks and they'd say, we're getting 2 million views a month. Please place an ad on our site. And obviously you guys would be losing out on revenue for that. What we do at VeraViews is we provide the infrastructure that provides that ad, and all of the checks that check for whether someone's a real viewer or whether they're a bot are done seamlessly in the background. And what we do then is we just immediately discount the bot from the advertising statistics and the advertising campaigns. So the brands essentially never have to pay for fake views. So essentially, that's, as I just said there a few minutes ago, this $100 billion market is essentially our addressable market for VeraViews.
It's very interesting. I mean, we had a little session here for teaching scammers how to do, but don't do that, guys. But I mean, if a company has or want to put their videos up, they need to pay per view, then you say. And this company who provides the platform where you put your ads, they also need to then have consent that they trust your company or Veracity to check this, right? Or how do they do the contracts then? Because if I have a business and I sign up with, let's say, crypto miners now, as we had that, and I want to have my ads on there, and then crypto miners does the calculation and get one number, and then your company or this company get another number because they use your product. Who decides which one to trust then? I mean, the company, crypto miners, obviously wants the highest number to get the most money or benefits, and the company wants to take your numbers then. Do you understand my question?
Yeah, no, it is a great question because you've actually blown apart one of the biggest problems in the industry there. So some publishers who are, let's say, and obviously publishers are our clients, they're our key users, but there are publishers out there on the web that are less than honest. So obviously, if a publisher is getting 10 million hits on their website per month, but they know full well that 8 million of those are probably bots, they are totally disincentivized to prove that or to say that to an advertiser because they're still making money off that 10 million off those 10 million impressions. Unfortunately, what this does is, advertisers aren't stupid. The brands aren't stupid. They know that they're spending, let's say, $1 million on an advertising campaign, and they're getting very little return on investment for it. So what they will essentially do is they'll scale back on how much they're spending. They'll maybe say to a specific publisher that they're working with, well, we totally dispute that you can be showing our ads to 10 million people because we've sold two cars this month. So you guys, someone is lying. So essentially what happens is the publishers who are honest and the publishers who are transparent and they do actually care about how much portion of IVT, which is invalid traffic that they're getting, they are the ones who suffer. It's the publishers essentially who suffer. The brands lose money in the short term, but what the brands will do eventually is just stop spending that money on ads. It's the publishers, the honest publishers, who genuinely want to bring their fraud rates down, that are disproportionately affected. And I really liked what you said there. Yeah.
Also.
So the honest publishers who really want to prove that they're taking proactive measures to prevent fraud, they're our core demographic, our core user base. And I also really liked what you said at the start there, that we've just taught scammers how to make money. I think it's important to really have a look at who these sophisticated groups are. So when we're talking about spoofing entire websites and generating tens of millions of bot views, this isn't really something that someone could do in the comfort of their own home. They would need basically industrial level computing infrastructure to do this. And what we typically see is that many jurisdictions where they possibly don't crack down on this sort of activity. They sort of turn a blind eye to this activity. We actually see essentially state-sponsored ad fraud, and unfortunately, what they do is they'll identify an organised criminal gang who are perpetrating ad fraud, and they'll say, "Look, we're not going to shut you down, but we want to use your computing infrastructure whenever we need it to do DDoS attacks on, Western infrastructure or attacks on Western banks, this sort of thing." So it all really ties into this wider network of cyber criminality, and the perpetrators of ad fraud. When we think about who is actually doing this, it's not individuals; it's serious organized crime groups, and the money that is made from ad fraud at the moment is actually on par with the narcotics trade in some countries, which is absolutely crazy. And it's also, double that of payments card fraud. So we're talking about really sophisticated networks of criminals here who are directly benefiting.
Mm. All right, let's hope they're not here listening then. Anyway, I'm sure they know better than us how they do it, because there are so many out there, and I think it's good that products like yours are coming to the market and really try to make a difference there, because it's, as you said, it's huge. Lots of people get scammed, and in this case, lots of companies pay fortunes for basically nothing. So yeah, it's not good. So, all right. But you also have other things. Oh, wait. How many customers do you have already for this?
So we're live with a number of publishers. We recently released a couple of case studies from those publishers that were live on our platform. And we've also got um, publishers who are joining from the Bright Cove network. So we haven't given out an exact number of publishers just yet. The reason we do this is because it's basically commercially sensitive. We do have competitors in the traditional advertising space, although they don't have our patented on-chain technology. We do still have people who are doing similar things to us, but without the blockchain element. That said, I would say that our release of case studies going forward, and we are going to have new case studies, that gives some indication as to how many impressions we're putting through the platform, and also how many ad burns as well, give an indication of how much revenue has been pushed through VeraViews. I would say probably no advertising network, no ad stack like VeraViews, like none of the other, I would say, Web 2 ad stacks give out information like exactly how many users they've got, this sort of thing, because it's commercially sensitive. It would be very easy to see for traditional competitors to see how much they're losing out to blockchain-based technology, if we were to give that. But we are obviously going to release more client names as we can, release more case studies, release more data on how the VeraViews ad stack's working. And also, I would say, if people are interested into our sort of, I guess, commercial rollout, a really good metric is to look at who we're hiring and how we're hiring and how many people that we're hiring. And our business development team has grown really rapidly. We've now got 3 directors for demand, publishing, and Dan, who's our overall head of sales. And those guys are just flat out with clients every single week. So yeah, things are going quite well.
Okay, very good. So where is the what is the vision here? Because I mean, this could be, I imagine now that this could be like a mark that you can put on your company or your platform as a security for other companies who wants to come and pay money to be on there. If we have the Veracity mark, the V mark or whatever, instead of the different other marks out there to make sure that it's a good business, or you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, that's a really good question actually. So there's a number of initiatives in the industry that are aimed at improving transparency around advertising. I would say that we're going to look to join those initiatives. So we've got things like the IAB, which we're already a part of. We're already on their global vendor list as a transparent advertising solution. That's pretty universally recognized as people who are honest actors in the space. And then we have the Trustworthy Accountability Group as well, which we may look at joining at some point in the future, and all sorts of different things, like this that are industry standards. From a sales point of view and from a promotional point of view for a publisher, it would of course be good for them to say, look, we use VeraViews, which is a fully transparent solution based on open ledger technology, because essentially it means that the advertisers who they work with no longer have to trust the data that they're being given. Instead, they can go on to the blockchain and verify those statistics, those campaign metrics.
So you can see the views then on the blockchain. I don't really understand how that works, but maybe that's too technical for us to understand.
No, I mean I can give a really, really simple overview. So essentially when our advertising stack serves adverts, it collects all kinds of data. So viewability metrics, which is how viewable the video is. So is it in the frame and this sort of thing. It also collects things like total views. It collects things like if it's identified a view as being a bot, it will record that in the campaign data, and we take all of this data for every impression and we store it on our blockchain-based backend, on our blockchain-based ledger, which is called the Vera chain. And we do this through proof of view. So I've compared in the past proof of view to Intel Inside. It's sort of what powers our advertising stack. It's not the only module in our advertising stack, but I think we've been over that a lot in other places. But essentially, we just take the data and we put it on the blockchain. So what this does, it allows both the publisher and the advertiser to see advertising data in real time for every impression. And this is really important because at the moment, what a lot of anti-bot measures do is they'll do a spot check. So they'll check, say, 1 in every 100 views on an ad. So they'll say, okay, we checked 1 in 100 views out of your campaign, and we found that only 5 of those views were fraudulent. What we do is we check every view. So every single view, because obviously that leaves the door massively open for fraud, because because like they check 1 in 100, the other 99 could be fraudulent. We check every view and we store that data on the blockchain so that it's transparent and immutable, and it's there forever, essentially.
Okay, that makes sense. Good. So where does then the token come in, the VRA, or it's a coin actually, because you have your own blockchain. So how is that used in this ecosystem? Does the company has to pay with that, or what's the utility for a normal holder of the coin?
Yeah. So it is. VRA is actually an ERC token, so that's not minted on our own blockchain. It's minted on the Ethereum blockchain. Our blockchain is a side chain of Ethereum. We do that because obviously it has a certain amount of clout when we say that we're built on the Ethereum blockchain, because people have heard of it, even outside of the crypto sphere. People know that it's a trustworthy blockchain, which is very important when we're selling a commercial solution, that we have that element of trust. So there's two types of VRA tokens. So there are VRA tokens that are used for data circulation purposes. So obviously I said there that we moved data on chain. So we moved this advertising data on chain. And to do that, we essentially, as with any blockchain, when you're creating a transaction, and a transaction here is any information that's been pushed to the blockchain, you need to use a token. So 90 billion of the VRA tokens are actually purely used for that purpose. They're purely there to push data to the blockchain through proof of view. So we call them proof of view marker tokens, and they don't impact our circulating supply. And then we have another portion of VRA tokens, which are in the circulating supply. So they're traded on exchanges or they're locked into staking wallets. And they're used within our ecosystem, both in the VeraWallet and now the VeraCard, but also they're used to pay for advertising campaigns in VeraViews. So I said earlier on in the space that VeraViews was the biggest opportunity for VRA and for Veracity. And that's because essentially when someone wants to host an advertising campaign on VeraViews, they have to fund it. So just like you would go on to Google ads or just like you would go on to Facebook ads and you would run an advertising campaign, what they would do is they'd say, set your, you have to link a card and set your budget, or you have to pre-deposit money in the advertising campaign and it uses it up as the campaign runs. So VeraViews is pretty much the same. If you wanted to run an advertising campaign that was, say, $10,000, what you would do is you would buy $10,000 worth of VRA from the open market and you would deposit it into an escrow pool, which would then be used to fund the advertising campaign. Obviously, we know that quite a lot of people, well, quite a lot of organizations, sorry, that use our advertising stack are obviously traditional businesses, they're Web2 businesses. So what we can do in that situation, they can pay us in fiat, and we'll then go to the market, buy VRA and deposit it into the escrow pool for them. So that's a little bit about how that works. And then, there's other utility that we're looking to bring in for VRA through VeraPay and the other product verticals that we're looking at exploring.
Oh yeah, I want to know about the VeraPay because that's where you can use the Vera token to pay with, or is it going to be like you can use any crypto to pay with through this system?
Yeah, so we're still developing out all the features and what that would look like. We sort of got the idea to explore a payments app because of the success of the VeraWallet. So VeraWallet's used already by over 300,000 active users worldwide, and we're really proud of our security protocols on it. It's a very secure wallet and it's very, very easy to use, or at least I think it is. And we've linked that to the VeraCard, which we've done with our partners, Damex, who are a new sort of digital asset banking app that you can use on mobile.
So it's not MasterCard or Visa or any of the big ones. It's a new provider.
So the cards are actually issued through Visa, yeah.
Okay.
But with our partners in doing that are the Damex app. But we actually thought about launching a payments app to serve some of the users that we have in, I guess, jurisdictions that are underserved by traditional financial infrastructure. Obviously, we've got a lot of ease of use and a lot of daily transaction volume, this sort of thing in Veracity. So it'd be quite good to explore its role in a digital payments ecosystem. I would say that would probably be more geared towards micropayments. And this is definitely something that we're going to be talking more about probably in Q2 of this year.
So is that more like P2P payments from people to people?
Yeah, exactly. So that would be more, like you typical like a small business accepting payments for goods or services, or it would be if I were to send you some money in VRA or in denominated in something else, with VRA possibly acting as like the transactional currency there. Yeah.
And that's without using the wallet then, because nowadays I can send I can send money to any wallet if I have the wallet address. So what's the
Yeah,
difference
I mean,
then? I'm after the
it would
difference.
be tied. It would be tied to VeraWallet. But I think we've got, obviously we're all crypto natives here and we're all crypto enthusiasts, and it's very easy for us to send tokens or to send value to each other. But I think there's still like a real barrier to adoption in the market for
That's
your
true.
average
Yeah.
user. So we would be looking way more to have it on the basis of, say, QR codes, where you could just scan a code and send money. So it wouldn't be designed to send like $100,000 or something like that, but like
Mm.
small daily transactions that would have rapid settlement times as well.
Is it gonna be with correct me if I'm using this word wrong now, but is it gonna be with like escrow? So you're certain that the money comes to the right place before you send it, or?
It's a good question, actually. I'm not sure of the answer on that. I have to talk to our product team and see what they're thinking about doing. I know now that we're looking way more for, micro settlement payments. So it would be like P2P payments. I'm not sure whether
With a
we'll have an
limit then.
escrow system in there.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be with a
possibly.
limit.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, because I think that's the problem today. I mean, if I get your wallet address, I might get one number wrong or something, or I might erase one number at the end, or I send it in the wrong in the wrong blockchain, and then it's all gone. So that's one
Yeah.
of the problem for people to be secure, I think, to send money. But maybe not if it's those small amounts, I don't know, but it's not that scary then, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, it is a real problem actually that I think we don't talk about enough in the space. And I remember saying this some years ago, that the barrier to adoption for crypto is still really high, and I actually don't think much has changed um, outside of like the big platforms. Like Coinbase is obviously very easy to buy and hold crypto, but even then, when you want to send crypto to someone else, you still have to play around with addresses and this sort of thing. And
Yeah.
we as crypto natives might think, oh well, that's easy, but loads and loads of people lose funds, and I do think it's holding back the adoption of crypto on the whole, that we haven't solved that ease of payment and
Yeah.
ease of transfer. Yeah.
I mean, even if you have done it many times, I mean, you could be tired, or you can just take the wrong contract. You take the one that you should send to instead of give to, or whatever. I mean, there are so many numbers on there to choose from sometimes. So you can easily get confused, I guess, if you're not paying attention or have 100% focus. We all have done it, I think. Yeah. Well, I have anyway. And that's not fun. So yeah, solve that, Elliot, and you'll be you'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, it is very easy to send things either to the wrong address, or, as you say, on the wrong network is easier to do. And I think one of the ways that we've already tried to approach this problem in VeraWallet already is that we have like a delay on withdrawal. We do this partly. You mentioned there that you could send you could accidentally send a lot of tokens to someone and they go to the wrong address. But also, one of the main problems in crypto is that if someone gains access to your wallet right now in a single transaction, they can drain it. What we've done on
Yeah.
VeraWallet is we've put in time delays for withdrawals. So if someone does gain access to your wallet through phishing attempts, hopefully they wouldn't be able to get in anyway, because we have mandatory two-factor authentication. But if they somehow did, they had access to your authenticator, you would still get an email to say that transaction had been initiated. So hopefully that would be a red flag for you if you hadn't done that. And then there would be a time delay. So you could potentially contact our support team and say, I didn't ask for this transaction. Sure, it's a little bit frustrating for some users when they want to instantly access their funds. We do understand
Yeah, I
that,
was
but it's
just
one
gonna
of the
ask about
reasons
that. Isn't that also isn't that also a ground for frustrations from people who know what they're doing and want to do it fast?
Yeah, I mean, we don't get a lot of. I mean, we've always been very transparent about that lockup period, about that withdrawal period, sorry.
So how
And
long is it?
usually it's settled within around, I would say, a few hours. But we do say that it can take up to about 12 hours. It never normally does. But it's just that little window where you can say, no, I didn't authorize this. And, it obviously works because we recently shared, that we, as a wallet, we've been around for around 5 years and we haven't had a breach or a security incident. We recently published an article on that about all the steps and the measures that we take to protect our users' funds. So I do think that we need to look more carefully if we're gonna attract people from the traditional Web 2 space who are used to like banking infrastructure. If we're going to attract them into crypto, we need to make it safer for them. I think, yeah, that's not going to appeal to everyone who is like a crypto really crypto savvy and they want to access to everything right now in its raw form with all their addresses and everything. But I think for mass adoption, it's needed.
So here's a suggestion. Maybe it's already built, but why can't that feature be like an option so you can choose yourself? Maybe I have two Vera wallets. I have one where I have some funds where I almost never touch, and then I have a wallet which I use daily or often and send money or get money or so I get it quicker.
Yeah, that would be
Is it an
interesting. I
option
mean,
or not? Not.
it's not an option at the moment. Obviously, if we were to roll out, or when we're to roll out the payments app, it would obviously need to be quicker than having a lockup. So that would probably be a feature of that app. The other reason that we have the fund sort of delay, withdrawal delay, is to disincentivize hackers as well. So if they're ever to gain access to any systems, they couldn't just drain a load of wallets. So it's not an option at the moment. Obviously, when we're looking at rolling out a payments ecosystem, we would need faster settlement times. So I'm sure it would be a feature there. But yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
So do you look at taking partners also working with similar apps or like similar system? Because I bet there must be lots of projects now thinking about this, like payment apps and how can we really use crypto in daily life and send crypto easier to each other?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one of the reasons why we partnered with Damex. So we've launched the VeraCard with them, but that's probably not where our collaboration will end, and we're certainly going to work with them as they grow. So they just recently launched a really successful IDO on CoinStore, or was it CoinSpot? CoinStore, I think. And they've basically developed a really user-friendly app that makes accepting and sending crypto payments really quite easy. So we absolutely are open to partnering with other projects in the space when it makes sense to do so. Obviously, we wouldn't develop something that competes with those partners, but something that complements it. So obviously, the VeraCard complements the Damex app. And vice versa. So yeah, we're totally open to that.
That's cool. All right, good. Yeah, I like this presentation, Elliot. It's a very interesting project, and no financial advice, guys, but look into it deeper because I think there's lots to look at. And no esports though. I was going to ask about that, but let's not go there at all then. So. So maybe we are ready to take some questions from the audience, Elliot. Is there something else we should actually talk about before that, maybe?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, we can take the questions.
And you don't have any NFTs at all?
No, we're not exploring NFTs at the moment. They were originally going to be part of our rollout for Vera Esports. So the games that we featured on Vera Esports, we were maybe going to make items available. As I said, commercially, with VeraViews being ready basically to roll out and to gain users, it made total sense to pursue that first.
Okay. Oh, and let's talk about more the VeraWallet and these 18% APY. Is that only if you have your tokens in the VeraWallet, and can you have your tokens elsewhere? It was on Ethereum, you said, so probably you can have it in all the usual wallets that has
Yeah, so
Ethereum, right?
we did have 18.25% stake, and that ended at the end of last month. Now we've moved to 15% staking.
Okay, okay.
So still, like a considerable APY. We do only offer that staking rate if you stake in the Vera wallet. You can, of course, if you want to, and there is a limit on how many people can enter the staking ecosystem. Spots do open fairly regularly, but it's been at capacity for a while now. But if you are looking to stake VRA, do make sure that you check every so often to see if the spot's available.
Oh, so there's no spots at the moment left.
There might be. I haven't checked today, but yeah, it was
Okay.
full. It was full, definitely full, like a few weeks ago. But obviously, yeah, we're an ERC compatible token, so you could store VRA wherever you wanted. If you would feel more comfortable locking your tokens onto a ledger device, you're totally free to do so. Obviously, you couldn't access staking rewards by doing that. But we do see that some users might want to do that. Also, I do know that there are a couple of exchanges. Obviously, we wouldn't vouch for them because they're third party, but I do know that there are a couple of exchanges that also offer VRA staking. So CoinSpot is one of them. You can actually stake your VRA there at a given APY. So obviously, if our staking ecosystem is full, you could explore other options.
Okay. And is it like a limit how much you can stake, or how much
Yeah, so
maybe a minimum or a maximum?
that depends on how full our staking pool is. So
Okay.
yeah, so let's say there was there was we were 5 million VRA away from the limit. You could stake 5 million, but if you had 6 million, then 1 million of it would remain unstaked. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, interesting. I'll look into it. I don't have a Vera wallet yet. I have some Vera though. Or Vera. What do you call the token? VRA?
Vera, yeah, Vera. Yeah.
Vera. Okay, cool. All right. Let's have some questions now. I want to bring up the Veracity, the main account. I'm trying to, but they're not coming, so people can see them because it's up on stage here, so people can see you. So please join, so people can see and follow the main account, because that is a main account, right?
It is,
Veracity
yeah.
Tech.
Unfortunately, I wasn't logged into. Obviously, you can only do Twitter Spaces on mobile. I was logged into my personal account. I actually ran out of time to log into the
Oh,
corporate
that's
account.
fine.
So
But it's
we've
here.
joined
Someone
from
else is
desktop.
here. Yeah. All right. All right. Never mind. Try and find the Veracity V and join them. Like them, or what is it called on here? Follow them. I mean. So let's have some question. We have. Where's everyone? Here. I'm gonna unmute two people and see them first. Tolga and
Hey there.
Ali Tech.
Yeah, you hear me?
Hey, Tolga. Yep.
Hi
Tolga,
guys.
welcome.
Exciting event for me because I have worked actually in internet advertising, mostly in sales parts. Managing websites. That's very nice to see such project. Actually, I sent my question, but I will repeat again because as I said, I typed down. As you focus on ad fraud occurring, advertisers and publishers. So, Veracity actively working with global, global media buying agencies, or, will you work with them, as a tool, or, how will you work them if possible?
Yeah, that's a great question. So where do we fit in essentially within the advertising supply chain? We're very much a publisher side platform in that we're, I would say, closest to software as a service for publishers. Within that, we obviously have to have plugins and APIs for all of the major services that a publisher would want to use. This is quite interesting. And I said earlier in the space that we tend to get into the weeds of the advertising ecosystem, and I forget that other people don't work in it every day. So it's a really good question. So we also have partners who are demand side platforms. So I mentioned before that this bid happens, this auction happens in order for users to be shown an advert, and basically when that happens, a demand side platform will basically get the ad and show it to the user. So they're sort of the middlemen who actually get the ad from a brand, and they take it and they put it into the video, which is us, and it's shown on the publisher's website to the end user. So obviously we need to have a lot of those demand side platforms. We've got integrations with a lot of demand side platforms now. We have a few that we're going to pretty much announce in the next couple of months, and one that we're quite excited to share because they also have a Web3 element. But one of the ones that we've already shared publicly is Hoopla Digital. We're also integrated. We recently integrated. I don't think it didn't actually have the impact as an announcement that I thought it might have. We integrated with Oracle Moat Analytics. So obviously Oracle are one of the largest tech companies in the world. They have something called Moat Analytics, which Tolga, as I'm sure if you've worked in advertising, you probably know what it is, but it's an analytics and data platform that essentially collects and stores data about advertising campaigns. It also in itself helps prevent ad fraud, and we've integrated that. So you get access to that by using the VeraViews. By using the VeraViews ad stack. Typically, you would have to pay extra if you were a publisher to use Oracle Moat, but it's built in now to the VeraViews ecosystem. So we've got all these other number of integrations that happen in the back end. We always get this question, like I have to say, actually, a little bit. It's somewhat frustrating. Obviously, I know that our core community, our OG community, never asked this, but we always seem to have this same FUD question, like, what are you guys doing, like in the back end on business development? These integrations with like the bigger industry players and all of the ad networks, the demand side platforms, and the supply side platforms. They're like a serious investment of time. Also, things like getting involved in the IAB and all of this sort of stuff. That's how you build a product from the ground up. You start by making integrations and building the product out. So that stuff takes a significant amount of time. And it's something we're very serious about doing. That's why we go to industry events, so that we can make these links and integrate the best in class technology so that we can become one of the leading advertising stacks.
Thank you very much. It seems also you will include, or you will help the sector, to earn another standard. Let's say, standardization. You will help, I guess. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thanks, Tolga. Yeah, great question.
Yeah, great question. We have many people have written questions here on the wall, or what we call it. We have someone asking how many proof of what is that? Proof of work? No, it was something else. Let's see. Proof of use. Sorry, proof of use. Market tokens are burned per view. Is it that one view represents one token burn?
Yeah, so it's a good question. They're not burnt because they don't. They're just for data circulation purposes. So they're just basically used for cycling data within the ecosystem. As I said before, like when you interface with a smart contract, when you generate a transaction, which we do to store data on chain, you have to send like a token with that transaction. If we're generating billions of impressions from advertising campaigns. You know, I said earlier on that we already have one of the clients who we have been able to announce. They have 10 million impressions per month. So you can imagine how many video impressions and how many data points we're storing on the blockchain. And for each one of those, you have to use proof of view tokens to send that data on chain. So they're cycled through the ecosystem.
All right. Someone is asking also about the card, if that's only available in the UK to start.
Yeah, this is a good question that I think it's important to address. So yeah, we have rolled out to the UK first and foremost. That's not because most of the team are British, although it does help, but it's just because it's a really easy jurisdiction to roll out to. The UK actually has some of the most crypto-friendly regulations in Europe, believe it or not, because we're a bit old-fashioned in many other ways.
Wow.
But then
the
we
king,
are
maybe.
absolutely, yeah, maybe. But
No, I'm kidding.
but we're looking to roll the VeraCard out to other jurisdictions as soon as we have sort of the regulatory green light to do so. Obviously, we've been around for a long time now. We are the sort of project that does things properly. We're not going to rush into releasing a product if we're not absolutely sure of the regulations and the jurisdictions that we're going out to. So the next focus will be Europe and then further afield.
Okay, very good. Come to Sweden then, Elliot. We have Amber up here, but first I need to ask you if you have more time because it's already 1 hour.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, got time for a few more questions. Yeah.
All right, Amber, go ahead. What's your question tonight?
Yeah, Mary. Hello, Elliot.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, Amber.
Great exposition. Thank you, Elliot, for the exposition actually. I like the name of the project, Verasity. It actually caught my attention. Yeah, I want clarification. I don't know if I'm the one thinking too far. I want to know that can Veracity be used for other purposes beyond crypto transactions, such as voting or identity verification? I just want to know about that. Can you help me? Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting point. So obviously we did explore the applications of proof of view for verifying NFTs. That's still something that is possible, but we don't see that it's a massive opportunity essentially for us at the moment commercially. The other things that that could be verified by proof of view is essentially any sort of data point that's stored on a blockchain. Obviously, the reason why we've sort of fully focused on advertising is because there is a huge need. So there's a $100 billion problem in the ecosystem. That is obviously fairly big. In terms of voting, it's quite interesting. I actually haven't. There's not something we've explored. Obviously, if there were, we are, I won't make any excuses for the fact that we are a for-profit company. We're a business-to-business company, and we're here to make money essentially and be a commercial success. If there were a commercial angle in that, we may explore it. But it's actually something that I think probably government should do, and it should be, publicly led out of the public wallet rather than private entities getting involved in voting, because I think that would probably open the door for more fraud than it would prevent, not from us, but if you were to privatize the voting ecosystem, I think it could be dangerous potentially. But it's interesting, and definitely I think blockchain as a technology should be used in voting. And maybe people could cast votes from their phone using a blockchain, and it would be a lot more transparent.
Thank you, Amber. Great questions.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's see. Do we have someone more? I'm going to bring up Jay if you are available, Jay. I was thinking about something and now I lost it. I had a really good question, Elliot, in my head, but it
We'll have to do
disappeared.
another space.
We have to do another space. When I find the question, I'll tell you. Let's see if I have Jay up here. Jay.
Yeah, hello
Good
Mary.
evening. Go ahead.
Good evening.
Hi.
Yeah, so I'm interested in the watch and earn aspect of the project. So I know that by utilizing the watch and earn aspect, we can gain points. So now I want to know now, like the points that we gain, is there a possibility that we can convert these points to either fiat or VRA tokens? And if so, is there a limit to which I can watch a day? Because if I can get paid by just using the app to watch and earn, I might as well just sit down on my laptop or my PC every day watching and earning. So is there like a limit to which I can earn while watching? And can I compare your platform to Twitch? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I mean the watch and earn, we did have it live and functional through Vera Esports. Obviously, we have sunsetted that functionality, so we don't have any live watch and earn videos at the moment. And what we're sort of looking to turn watch and earn into would be more of a system where a publisher could reward their viewers for watching. If they were to do that, then essentially there are a number of rewards that they could give to viewers. Yes, they may choose to reward in VRA. Obviously, that would involve a publisher buying VRA first from the open market to then distribute to their viewers. So that's up to them if they wanted to do it. But we don't actually have any live watch and earn enabled videos at the moment. Really, it's just something that is quite a powerful concept to offer to publishers. We can say, have you considered incentivizing people to watch ads and to watch videos, sorry, any form of video on your website. So it's just sort of an additional feature that we have the patent to. In terms of the theoretical limit to watch and earn, it's as much as you can stay awake and stay watching a video. We actually don't. So we use the same technology that we use to detect ad fraud in the watch and earn. So we could essentially tell whether that video is running in a minimized window, if it's not actually in the field of view, and if there's been no activity on a machine for quite a while on a web page, for instance. So in terms of and I know that this actually happened when we did have proof of view live. Some people would try and game the system by just setting it up in the minimize tab and just letting the videos run. That would not register as like a view. So theoretically, the limit to watch and earn rewards is how long you can actually stay watching a video.
Are you happy with the answer, Jay?
Yeah, I am. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Elliot.
I wanted to ask you more about the team because we forgot to mention how you're quite a lot of people working in this business, right, Elliot? And it's a business and it's not a community-driven token. It's a real business with employees who tries to take this project further, right?
Yeah. I hope I'm still an employee. Yeah. So
we've got paid.
Yeah.
Do you get paid?
So I do. Yeah. So unfortunately, I'm not doing it. I mean, I love Verasity as a project, but yeah, we're a for-profit business. We are actually around 50 people full time. So you can see our leadership team if you go onto the Verasity website and head over to About Us. As I said right at the start, we're overhauling the whole Verasity website. It's going to look very different shortly. Much nicer in my opinion, and we're going to have a few more team members showcased on there. We also have and we present them separately to the market because VeraViews is a separate product. Obviously it ties into the Verasity ecosystem, but we have a dedicated VeraViews team. You can see them on the leadership for VeraViews on the team page there. And these sort of 50 employees are spread across marketing, sales, but mainly developers and products. So I would say the vast majority of our manpower is in product and developer resources, which is
Very good.
part of the
Yeah, I
reason we've
see
been
them
able to
now.
ship so quickly.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say that's part of the reason why we've been able to pivot and ship VeraViews in a commercial setting so quickly since the second half of last year.
Mm-hmm. And where is the big vision now? Because you moved away from some of the things like esports and proof of use to concentrate on the other products. And what is the vision for long term, like 5 years ahead? Where do you see yourself, or where is Veracity in 5 years? What do you talk about in the corridors? I mean, the
Yeah,
virtual
so
corridors.
well, actually, I mean, we do meet in person quite regularly. So we are a distributed company. I would say the majority of our leadership team are actually here in London. We have our CTO is based in Europe, and our chief product officer is over in California because that's where all the major developments are happening in terms of tech in this industry. So we've got a person on the ground in California. But yeah, our core management team who do like the day-to-day of like marketing and that sort of thing are based here in the UK, and we meet in London, go down next week to meet with the team. And most of our sales team live pretty much in central London where they need to be because they're meeting with clients all the time, basically. So yeah, we do have like a physical presence as well. The 5-year vision, I guess, would be to onboard publishers. So as I'm sure everyone's sort of noticed, we've really gone into overdrive in the last 6 months, not only in terms of what we're doing on the crypto side, in terms of marketing and how we're promoting the project, which is things like this, things like more Twitter spaces and really putting ourselves out there. But also in terms of the commercial opportunities that we're pursuing. So we're going to a lot more events and this sort of thing. So the 5-year vision, I would say, it's very simple, is just to grow to where we've got, I guess, hundreds or even thousands of publishers using our solutions. And if you think about how many publishers are online, like the advertising industry is worth billions and billions of dollars. The ad fraud problem is $100 billion. And worldwide, if we think about how many websites there are publishing content, we're talking about, tens of millions of websites probably. So even to capture a small portion of that would be very successful. So that's probably our 5-year goal, is to just really pursue commercial adoption.
I think you should go for what I said earlier. Put the Veracity V on the company, so people know, oh, they are legit. They don't have bots or spammers taking my money. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that'd be good. Or maybe the Proof of View logo, powered by Proof of View, is something that I was pretty proud to have coined at the start of the year. So yeah, we might go for that.
Very good, very good. All right, Elliot, one last question from Mary, and that is, what do you put on your pizza? Do you eat pineapple on pizza or not?
I actually do like ham and pineapple. I know that makes me a weirdo to some people, but usually I'll just go for a good old chicken and sweet corn, probably.
Oh, okay. I'd say it's 50-50. I usually ask that question in the end, just to make my own little marketing campaign, or I mean, I don't know what it's called in English. Damn it. I don't have any numbers for you, so I did have some Italians on here that I almost didn't dare to ask, but then I did because it's virtual, so they can't hit me. And they said yes. 3 of them. Yeah, they hate pineapple on pizzas, which you hear that's never gonna happen for some Italians. They rather die before they do that. But I mean, times changing, so. All right. So, what is Veracity doing for the mass adoption, would you say, of crypto?
Well, the mass adoption of crypto, I think I always say, we are pushing forward crypto products, but in terms of, I think it's important. It's interesting you should ask this actually, because we've recently been writing a document about this, about Web 2 to Web 3 conversion. So if we think about where the users are on the web, they're on publishers' websites. Whatever we do on the website, we are on the website, sorry, on the internet, we are consuming information from publishers. So Twitter is essentially a micro publication platform. We've got things like news websites, and this is where every single day, there's almost 8 billion people on Earth, and a great portion of those now are consuming billions of web pages per day of content. And if we can have a blockchain-based backend that is powering the ads behind that content and making sure that ad ecosystem is safe, and that's essentially powering the internet and the content ecosystem on the internet, that to me is mass adoption. A little bit like I guess like TCP/IP, is it? The internet protocol. It's something that no one, or HTTPS, for instance, something that everyone uses every single day, but we don't necessarily know, and we don't we maybe take it for granted a little bit. But that would be mass adoption in my eyes, that something is the standard of transparency on the internet. Yeah.
I agree. I used to say that too. It needs to be like something that you don't even know it's a blockchain, but you need to use it because you like it. And it makes some sense in your life. It helps you live better or whatever. So, all right, good. You are on many exchanges. How can I buy the Verasity token if I'm in here now listening and I think it's a good product. I want to buy it. Where do I go?
So we're on a pretty big number of exchanges. You can head over. I always tell people to follow us on CoinMarketCap, because we make use of our CoinMarketCap community page quite a lot. Obviously, that lists all our exchanges. We don't recommend any single exchange, totally up to people where they buy from. But some of the exchanges, off the top of my head, we've got the most liquidity on KuCoin, but we're also traded on Bybit. We're on Crypto.com. We're on Huobi. OKX, Gate, a huge number of.
Aren't you recently listing, or today listing on some new exchange, or was that something else? Aren't you going to?
We've recently listed on LBank as well.
Yeah, exactly.
LBank exchange. Yeah.
So it's coming new all the time. When Binance? Someone asked here in the chat, I saw.
Yeah, I mean, we get asked that a lot, and my response is always the same. Like, we don't announce listings ahead of time, but we are always looking for new listings. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Good answer. Diplomatic. All right, Elliot. It has been a pleasure. Sorry for keeping you a bit longer, but it's a very interesting project, and we had many questions, and I think we covered a lot, though. So if people here
it's been a really great space.
Yeah, if they want to know more, where do they go? Where is your main social network?
So please do follow us on Twitter. It's at Verasity Tech, so really simple to remember. I'm sure if you go to the search bar and type Verasity, will hopefully be the first result. If not, I'm not doing my job properly. And also follow us on Telegram. We've got a really active Discord, and we've, like I say, you can also follow us on CMC. One of the things that we're pretty proud of is we recently released a Zeely community, where you can actually get involved with some tasks and quests there. You can actually get rewarded and earn points for participating in that community. So if you're the kind of person who likes, the Web3 community, do go ahead and check out our Zeely as well.
Very good. And Elliot, I sent you a message because I want to stay in touch and have some other questions for you if you don't ban me.
Yeah, great. Fantastic.
All right. And make sure to follow Elliot, follow Crypto Miners, and Thank you so much for coming, Elliot, talking about Veracity, and I'm sure we will see you again, or I hope we will see you again. And I wish you the best of luck with the project, because I think it's a good one. So keep it up. See you in 5 years. No,
Yeah,
see you in a little bit. Before
yeah, it'd be
Binance, can
great
you
to have
come
another
back?
space.
All right. Yeah. Have a nice evening over in UK, and maybe you want to stay or come back in a little bit, because we have Say Network coming up in 1.5 hours, and the co-founders here to talk about Say Network with us. But thank you so much, Elliot, for bringing us information about Veracity.
Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks Mary for being a great host.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I always give the guests like 5 minutes or 2 minutes for a closing statement, and I forgot. Sorry. Go ahead, Elliot, if you have
Oh no,
something
yeah,
else
no
you want to
worries.
add.
No, I'm pretty sure we covered everything. It's been a really comprehensive space, and I like the fact that we managed to get very deep into how the advertising ecosystem works. I don't think that we speak about that enough. So yeah, it's really interesting to deep dive into that. So thanks for the opportunity, and there's some really great questions. If you do have a question for me, I usually try and respond to most of the DMs that I get. I do get hundreds. So if I don't get back to you straight away, don't be offended. But yeah, do send me a DM if you've got questions about the project, and we'll try our best to answer.
Very good. Thank you so much, Elliot, for coming. Have a great night, everyone, and see you hopefully soon in 1.5 hours again. So that's all for
Thanks,
tonight.
everyone.
No, it's all for tonight.
Bye.
It's all for now, I mean. See you later. Bye, everyone. Bye, Elliot.